Hello everyone, welcome back to the Erasmus Expeditions. We are here with session number 17 of a D&D 5e campaign that we have been playing. This takes place in a homebrew world of mine called Momentum, and the campaign, as you can tell, is called Whispers and Fragments. Tonight's episode is titled A Dish Served Cold. I've loved this campaign so far. It has come a long ways and still has a ways yet to go. But I'm really excited about all of the things that we have managed to get up to so far and how these characters have all developed. So I'm really excited to see the finishing kind of that arc. But before we get started tonight, I do want to warn you if language or subject matter is something that bothers you, especially if it ventures into the dark or mature, then don't turn yourself off. I mean, don't watch my videos. It's not going to be good for you if that's the kind of stuff that gets under your skin. So I'm going to now pass it over to my players so that they can say their introductions, plug anything that they would like to plug, and then we will get this rolling. So first up, we have Jake. We do not yet have Jake. We will come back to Jake. Instead,
there we go. Sorry.
Nope.
My Zoom window my Zoom window got hidden and I couldn't find my mute button.
I understand. It happens to me all the time.
Yeah, I'm Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and that's where you can find me all over the internet, on Twitch and YouTube in particular, where I run lots of D&D games, including our regular Thursday night game that Jeremy is a part of, and on Friday nights, gaining its own fan base is quite a popular stream is Alan's Curse of Strahd game that runs on my channel. And that's primarily what we do, along with some terrain, miniature painting, all that kind of stuff. And I'm playing the recently renamed Katvrad. And she has been affected. You may have noticed in the last episode, she was incredibly quiet, almost like she wasn't there for most of it, because I wasn't there, but was greatly affected by Ingvarad's death, and we'll see how that plays out.
Hey, disappearance. We don't say death yet. We're calling it a planar misplacement.
You're calling it a planar misplacement.
Excellent. Yeah, sorry about the music. I was attempting something, and apparently I have, surprise, something set up incorrectly. So we're going to roll right ahead. And Austin, you're up next.
I'm Austin, the one who doesn't create any content, and I'm playing Bastarad, the one who also doesn't create much and likes more to destroy, although he is a stoneworker, so I guess he does kind of create. But he's a real angry boy, and he's working on trying not to be, but he is also dealing with the after effects of Ingvarad's planar misplacement. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited to get back into this after so long. Only thing to plug would be mask up, wash your hands, keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. That's kind of what the point we're at now, I think. But yes, absolutely. Anybody, by the way, who does mention a channel, you should be able to find the link to that in the description of this video down below. Please do go check them out. We are not going to have Tim tonight. He is not feeling well. I hope that he gets to feeling better soon. Our thoughts are with him. But we will next go on to Alan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alan, and you can find me on social media at CFTRPG, YouTube channel where I put out RPG content, D&D content, all that good stuff. And on Fridays, as Jake had mentioned, I run a Curse of Strahd campaign, going on episode 34 this week. So going strong, and would love to have you join us on Fridays over there. And outside of that, I am playing Haroon, an elven paladin who used to be a Oath of Conquest paladin, but has seen that he's caused a lot of pain and suffering with the faction that he was with, the Kalendari. And as such, he has seen the error of his ways and has taken an oath of redemption, and has thus joined this party in hopes to redeem himself. And we have definitely found ourselves in quite the pickle. So I'm interested to pick this back up after our long hiatus.
Me too. I found myself thinking about this game a lot over the last 2 months and going, man, when is that supposed to be? And I'd look at the calendar. Oh, that's right. We ended up having to skip a session, and I was like, now it feels like forever. So I'm very excited to be diving back in and finding out what's next. All right. Last but certainly not least, Jeff.
Hello. Yes, I'm Jeff. I am a part of Tabletop Terrors. Want to check out my channel? Check out our videos there. Yeah, I'm playing Darian, a sort of scoundrel trying to find his way in the world and get back on track. Yeah, glad to be here after a couple of sessions, a long time away at least. Not a session, but definitely just.
Uh-oh. Sounds like it might be a connection issue. It sounded like he was wrapping up anyways. Hopefully Jeff can get that figured out and it won't be a persistent issue. But, classic Dodie. That's messed up. Jeff, Godspeed, sir. I've been playing in games for 2 weeks now, and everybody's had a technical issue here or there. Usually me. But that's just user error on my part. But hopefully we can get that figured out, and we won't miss any beats here. So, unless there are any questions, I'm going to slice you into a bunch of pieces and spread you all over the screen. You might have to reboot. Okay, so unless there are any questions, we can go ahead and get started, and hopefully that will buy Jeff some time here. All right. Take care in defining yourself by what you have done in the past. Do not cling too tightly, nor honor too highly the accomplishments of yesterday. While they have undoubtedly shaped who you are today, it is what you do with the present and future that define who you will be. And when past errors return to haunt you, do not bend who you are to justify or excuse them, but instead face them head on. Look your error in the eyes and destroy the former part of yourself that created that mistake. We must all continue to shape ourselves into a better form, a better version of who we might be. We find the 5 of you, 6 with your guide, running from the mouth of this twisted, discarded Colossiah, the betrayer, making your way back to the raft that brought you here through the Breathless Bog. The drumming, distant when you first heard it, stopped the moment that you removed the wellstone from inside the torso of the minced Kona. The dwarven corpse is not quite the right word. Just the dwarf that was found at the Heart Spring. You have... Oh no. Okay. You have fled back through their empty village, no longer hearing the drumming, but the sounds of something moving quickly through the jungle, through the trees of the swamp as you near your guide and the raft. They are running parallel to you. You can see movement not only on the ground, but also in the trees. So as you reach the raft, who's on there? Who's getting onto the raft first? What are you doing to prepare to leave in a hurry?
Well, I think Haroon would be in the rear with his shield, trying to just ensure that if something comes up behind us, that he can fend off long enough for the party to get the raft situated. So I will follow up in the rear.
Bastard will get up as close as he can, try to stay with the guide, and try to use his size to push off as quickly as he can, like help load everyone into the raft, like make sure that it's easy for everyone to get onto the raft as quickly as possible, and then push off.
I imagine Katvarad being the first on board, not able to easily get in from the water as the longer-legged folk. So I would immediately jump in and kind of move towards the front.
This guide, Farvaccio, is kind of watching you hurry towards him and has started getting the raft ready to leave, since it's very obvious that you're in a hurry. And as you start piling onto the raft, he starts saying, What is the problem? What's going on?
No time, go!
He just nods and turns and helps to push the raft off. The last of you might have to kind of make a small leap from the shoreline onto the edge of the raft. Kind of have someone reach out and grab a hold of your arm to keep you from falling backwards under the weight. And the raft gets pushed off. You begin to make your way back out into the Breathless Bog. All around, there are moving figures. As I said, now that you're out into the water, they seem to have moved up into the trees. You can see that they're small and dark and lithe. And as they move through the trees, you can see that they carry some equipment with them, weapons of some type. And you see little glints of like light reflecting off of bestial eyes as they dart in and out of these trees and attempt to keep pace with you. That's not what they sound like. So, you are now underway. What would you like to do? Anybody?
Are we just letting the current take us, or is there like oars? Or
there's definitely like push poles, and Faravaccio last time was able to control water to kind of help push you along quickly, but he informs you that he's out of spells, or at least slots that he'll be able to use to cast that again.
As he's saying that, I'm sort of wringing. It looks like I'm wringing my hands together, almost with a nervousness. And there is a little bit of reluctance, and probably kind of almost glancing over at the others as the familiar shadow form begins to seep from my fingertips and a shape begins to form in my hands. But as before, the shadow is more luminous than before. It's less shadow and more like a liquid form of light, as I summon my packed weapon in the form of a heavy crossbow.
I think Darian would be similarly readying himself. I imagine as we move away from magical means of moving this raft and more into mundane, his sailing experience becomes more useful against the mundane form of transportation. He'll begin like helping this guide like to get this thing moving before also pulling out his own short bow and arrows to ready himself.
Excellent. You're able to kind of unfurl a small, like triangular shaped sail that's on this raft, and he's able to kind of change tack a little bit and get some power of the wind to help move you guys a little faster. Okay. You continue on, and you begin to hear these creatures calling to one another.
Bastrad will turn to our guide and ask, do you know what that means? What are these things? And his voice is very hushed, trying not to draw any more attention to them, even though he knows that they're already being followed, but trying not to give any reason for them to attack.
The guide explains, these are the Blackjaws. This is a horrible tribe of gremlins. We may already be dead.
Bastrad will lean in close and say, whatever happens, get the dwarf out. Just whispering that exclusively to the guide.
Okay. Let's roll initiative. Okay. Alright, let's see. Darian's got a 24. A 13 from Katharad. Uh, 12 from Bastrad. And 10 from Heaven. Okay, so Darian, you are up first. Oh, looks like he froze again. Great face to freeze on, Jeff. That's excellent. Okay, so we'll get him whenever he comes back. Let's see. Okay. You see, as you're passing through the bog, that the Breathless are still all around you, kind of meandering here and there, hovering, kind of bemoaning their existence. But they don't seem to be paying any attention to any of you or the Blackjaws that are moving through the trees. The Blackjaws themselves continue to kind of keep pace with you as they leap from branch to branch, and all of you notice that a few of them have moved ahead just a bit. Are you good, Jeff? You want to take your turn?
Maybe. Sorry about that, guys.
No, it's okay.
So yeah, I was just gonna ask real quick. All these things are still spread out far from us right now at this point.
Yeah, most of them have kind of divided on either side of where your raft is traversing, and they're kind of in the trees. They are fairly spread out, but there's clumps of maybe 3 or 4 in any given tree.
I just mean like none melee range. They haven't encroached
No.
on it yet.
Yeah, no, not yet.
But it does seem pretty obvious that they are in the process of doing so. Like Darian is going to fire if they seem obviously aggressive, but if there's any chance that we could avoid a battle, he would do that. But I'm guessing at this point it's too late.
Yeah, your guide seems pretty concerned with the situation. You may have even overheard him say to Bastrad that you may already be dead. And they are kind of moving ahead of your raft, and it looks like they're positioning themselves to make ranged attacks at you.
Perfect. Darian will then knock an arrow, pull it back, and let it loose at whatever the closest one of these things he can see is. And remind me again how you do crit damage.
So you do maximum die damage plus all your modifiers, and then you roll your dice and add your modifiers a second time.
Fortunately, that will not be sneak attack. That do not have advantage and not close. So that'll be 28 piercing damage to one of these things.
You're breaking up really bad, but I'm pretty sure you said 28 points of damage. Yes, that absolutely just completely and totally nails one of these things, killing it outright. And it kind of falls out of the tree. And as it kind of falls from the kind of somewhat camouflage of the foliage and stuff, past the mosses kind of that are hanging down from these branches, you can see that this gremlin is almost entirely black. You can't tell if it's coated in tar or if it's just the thing's skin color. It's hard to tell, but it's definitely like almost a complete pitch black color. Okay. Darian has dropped one of these things from the tree, but a few of them ahead of you have managed to get into position and are going to be firing at you as you pass underneath the branches that they are on. You notice, perhaps all too late, that they are not bows. They appear to be blowguns. So each one of you is going to get attacked by one of these blowguns. Let's see. Katharad, what is your armor class?
I have AC 14 with my Armor of Shadows up.
Excellent. So that misses you. This kind of dart, this long, slender dart with this kind of puffy down on the bottom, kind of right past you and sticks into the wood of the raft at your feet. Okay, next, Bastrad, what is your AC?
$16.
Okay, another miss. A little closer this time, but still a miss. All right, let's see. Haroon, what is your honors class?
18.
Okay, he's going to get you with a 19.
Okay.
And then, Darian, what's your AC? Uh-oh, looks like he's frozen again. Oh. Did you say 15?
Yes.
Okay. Then that is a narrow miss, likely because of whatever armor you may wear. Okay. So, Haroon, whenever you are hit, you instantly feel that there's more to this than simply the sting of the dart itself. You're going to take 4 points of ether damage and 3 points of piercing. You notice when this hits you, that back little tuft of like down kind of becomes saturated and wet. And it seems like with ether. And immediately around you, you can hear the sounds that the Breathless made. And they begin to stir. Let's see. From above, 2 of them drop down onto the raft. They look like they are brandishing spears and shields. But they will not be able to attack just yet. So that brings us to Kadvarad.
How far away is the shoreline from the raft?
Probably only 30 feet at this point.
And how high are they dropping down onto us from the branches?
15.
So hearing the sounds of the stirring of the Breathless and seeing that we're being surrounded and accosted by these things, I shift my crossbow from target to target, trying to settle on a target. As I do so, I begin sort of muttering under my breath in a combination of Dwarvish and a language you've never heard Kadvarad use before. And as I do so, my eyes do that familiar crossover with smoke that quickly turns to a white light that almost as quickly turns to green light. And a dim glow begins to radiate out from me in a range of 30 feet in all directions. Dim greenish light centered on me. Any creature that moves into this spell's area of effect for the first time on its turn or starts its turn there has to make a con save, or it will take 4d10 radiant damage, suffer 1 level of exhaustion, and will begin glowing with green light in a 5-foot radius, making it impossible to become invisible. This is a spell called Sickening Radiance, and I can concentrate on it for up to 10 minutes.
And are
So
you able
that
to
is my
exclude
action.
Are you able to exclude friendlies?
When a creature moves into the... Oh, that's a good question. Dang it, even as a celestial, Kadvarad might be screwing everybody.
Classic.
So the spell does say when a creature moves into the area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there. It does not specify that you can choose. Yep, classic Kadvarad.
So do you want to go for that anyways?
I already said I was doing it, and it
Okay.
is what Katvrad. She is historically very bad at controlling herself, and this
Okay.
is new magic. This is brand
Yeah.
new magic
Very true.
for her. So in her mind, she's just helping everybody out. Unfortunately, that applies to all of you now.
And what kind was it? It was green.
It's a green glow.
Okay, but it's like radiant damage or something?
Yes, it's 4d10 radiant damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What kind of save was that again?
It's Constitution.
Just know that you guys are next to me, so my aura of guardian comes into effect. So you have a +4 to saving throws.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank
That'll
goodness.
help.
Yep.
And is it safe for half, Jake?
Or sorry, or a protection,
Nope.
but yeah.
Okay, so if you save, you're good.
If you save, you get nothing.
Okay.
Because it's a multi-effect spell.
Right. A lot of those are set up that way, so I just wanted to check. Okay. So yeah, Gotharad like summons this enormous globe of energy kind of around her, and instantly all of you can feel the air and the water around that's kind of splashing changes its behavior. It's thicker almost as you're kind of passing through this area, and it seems to be following along with your raft. Okay, that was Katvrad. So, Bostrad, you're up first. How about you make a saving throw?
Yeah. So I rolled a 10, and I was trying. I may have cut out. What kind of save was it again? Constitution.
It's Constitution.
Okay, that's what I thought. So that's a 12 overall.
And you get Haroon's aura.
So
of protection.
16 with the aura of protection.
It's a DC 14.
Perfect.
Ooh-wee. Then you are free
Yay.
to move about the cabin, sir.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so seeing that these things seem to be shooting us with ether to draw these breathless towards us, Bastrad's going to try something that seemed to be somewhat effective before and now has even more of a target. And it'll dig into his bag, pull out another one of his remaining ether vials, and try to take aim at the nearest clump of multiple of these little gremlins and just chuck the ether vial directly into them and hope that he can cover them with this and draw as many breathless off as possible.
Excellent. So yeah, you kind of pitch this thing as hard as you can off to the side. He kind of, arcs off and hits a tree kind of near its base where these kind of gnarled roots kind of come up out of the water, and it shatters, and you can see like that kind of glowing bluish kind of colored liquid kind of spread out on the bark, and all of the breathless in that area immediately turn their attention and ravenously like levitate over to it and begin just clawing at the side of this tree, hardly able to even remove any of the bark. Most of their hands just simply pass through the corporalness of the tree. Okay. Was there anything else, Bastrad? There are two of them that are on the raft with you if you want bonus action stuff.
Yeah, if I have enough time. Let's see, that was an action. I don't really have a good bonus action for this. Do I have enough time to like just do a quick kind of scan around and see if I can get a rough estimate of how many we're dealing with, like overall?
Yeah, absolutely. Make a perception.
Oof. Not great. Yeah, okay. Well, that's a 9.
There's a lot. There is a lot of them.
Shit. Bastard will say, like, they're on all sides.
Okay, that brings us to Haroon. Haroon, let's get a con save.
Con save. You got it. All right. That is +2 +6 overall. That's a 16.
Excellent. Good to go.
Right. Yeah, so for my action, I am going to, I say under my breath, Ingvarad, we could really use your help. And with that, I'm going to bless my 3 companions. So they will get to add a D4 to any attack or saving throw as long as I can keep concentration for the next minute.
Excellent. It'll probably be a very, very good
And that's
choice.
in addition to my aura of protection bonus. So
Nice. Even better.
yeah.
Okay. That brings us back around to the top. Darian. Let's get that con save, if you would.
Yeah, I think Darian will find himself like subconsciously like shrinking up closer to Haroon as he feels this like stiffening cloud sort of form around them. But he will thankfully to the aura end up with an 18 between bless and the aura.
Excellent. So you're able to also shrug off the effects of Katara's spell.
He'll do his best to ignore this sort of strange feeling that's sort of come over the raft. Not sure exactly what's caused it between the chaos of everything. And seeing some of these things actually on the raft with them, will pull out his sword instead of his bow and lunge at the nearest one, try to take it out with a 21 to hit.
Yes. That will make contact. Absolutely.
All right, and that will be 24 slashing. It's a lunge at it.
Okay. So, yeah, you managed to take down a second one of these creatures. You can describe it if you'd like.
Yeah, it's more of a move of just like panicked efficiency than anything. He can see, I imagine, the effects of the ether from the dart that hit, I think it was Haroon. And now seeing the breathless and these things just around, he just wants to dispatch this thing as quick as possible. He'll just like lunge forward, just bring the sword like, straight down across it, and then stab it through the center of its chest before like kicking it off the raft back into the murky depths from which it came.
Excellent. For the moment, the breathless have been pulled away by Bosterod's quick thinking. So they are not drawn yet to Haroon. It seems like for the moment you have a reprieve. Let's see. Okay. One of these gremlins has made its way to the front of where your raft is and drops down, replacing the one that was just killed by Darian. This one, however, looks a little different. You can tell that he is a gremlin of station. He carries a staff. He has rows and rows of these jagged, sharp teeth, but it looks like he also has these spines kind of all over his head. He looks at you with these kind of glowing, fire-colored eyes.
I'm going to eat you. Bones and marrow, too.
He is then going to strike at you, Darian.
He needs to make the saving throw too.
Oh, excellent. Yes. Con save.
Any of your baddies, when they start their turn or enter it for the first time, have to make the save.
Excellent. He's going to fail with a 9.
He is going to take 35 points of radiant damage. And I imagine as it affects him, there's just this sort of flexing of this green aura. And he is also exhausted and has a greenish cast that he will shed green light in a 5-foot radius.
Excellent.
And I don't think that grants advantage or anything. It just prevents him from benefiting from invisibility.
Okay.
Double checking.
Let me just see.
I am also. I'm going to use my reaction to invoke my protection fighting style, and since he's not attacking me and Darian's within 5 feet, I'm going to impose disadvantage on his attack.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So he's going to have disadvantage. Okay, so I don't believe a 12 hits you, Darian. Okay.
Oh.
He brings the staff down towards you, and you're easily able to move out of the way. You can tell that whatever it is that Kokvarad has cast has taken a great effect on him. But he is still attempting to press. He follows up his attack with his staff by turning that large, wide mouth full of teeth towards you and attempting to bite you. Is he still at disadvantage, Haroon? Or is it just to the one attack?
It's just for that one attack.
Okay. Let's see here. An 18. Does that hit you, Darian? Yes.
It does.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. So you are going to take 9 points of piercing and 3 points of fire damage. As he bites into you, pitch seeps out from between his teeth and covers the wound on your arm.
Darian will jerk away at the last second, so the bite can't quite get as good a hold as it normally would. I'll use my reaction to have that damage, but will not be able to prevent the full scope of it. Will grab in pain as the fire burns into his skin.
Absolutely. You can see already the pitch, as hot as it is, has actually caused a small bit of your flesh to actually burn or melt away. This is incredibly hot still. Unnaturally so. Okay. The one that is still on the raft is going to try to make his save. He's going to fail. So I imagine he will probably die.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4. He will take, there's another 10 and a 9, 27 points of radiant damage.
What does it look like as this kills him?
Again, there's this sort of surge of this aura. And as he starts to move, it's as if his movement, he's moving like he's been frozen in place in time, but is still trying to move through it and begins to just disintegrate from the radiant energy as it tears away at the pitch and the flesh and anything like that. I don't think it's a complete disintegration, though. I think it just sort of sears. There's places where the bone and the underlying flesh are visible, and then he collapses.
Absolutely. Falls into the water. Kotharad. Oh, wait. Sorry. There are others of these creatures. Still. So, we are going to get another round of blowgun shots. Alright. Kotharad. 12 is going to miss you. Bastarad. An 18. I believe will hit.
Yes, and I'm gonna do that wonderful thing that monks get to do.
Oh, deflect
And
missile?
use my reaction. Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
Just gotta remind myself. Well, what's the? I think I need to know the damage, and then I have to roll
Yeah.
against it.
The damage is going to be 8 total.
Okay. Shoot. There we go. Find the right thing. How many points total?
8.
Okay, perfect. So that is enough that I will catch it.
Nice.
That reduces it to 0.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go ahead and I mean, as long as we're doing this, I'm gonna spend a key point and throw it right back at the same guy that threw it at me, or that shot it at me.
Let's go ahead and make your attack roll. Don't forget about the bless.
That's gonna be a grand total of. Does this count as something I'm proficient with?
I think when you're using it via the ability that it does.
Okay, and then that's +4. Okay, that's not bad. 13.
Okay, a 13, however, is not going to be enough to hit.
Yeah.
This thing sees you catch it, and you can see its kind of glinting eyes grow wide as you do so, and then you spin around and kind of hurl it back at it, and at the last moment it brings up this kind of hardened hide shield, and you can hear it thump, like straight into that shield.
I did my math wrong, and I forgot that my proficiency is it's only one difference. It's a 14 make a difference.
No.
Okay,
It is
perfect.
closer.
Then it doesn't make a difference. Yeah,
So it
just realized that at the end. I was like, oh shit.
It would have been funny if it made.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that one just barely misses him. Okay, that was versus Bastarad. This is going to be the one headed to Haroon. A dirty 20. Yeah, okay. That's another hit. It's going to be 3 points of piercing and 1 point of ether damage. And then the last of them to Darian. 22. Darian, that's going to be 3 points of piercing and 6 points of ether damage. Okay. They continue to move along the trees, trying to keep pace with you. And, okay. Having seen what the bubble is kind of doing to their companions, they don't seem as keen to hop onto the raft right now. There's still a bunch of chittering amongst them, discussing a change in tactics, it sounds like. Okay, next up is Kotvarad.
Is that spiky-headed dude on the boat?
He is, yes.
How far away from me is he?
10 feet.
Okay. Because I have a heavy crossbow, so I needed to see if that was at disadvantage, which it would not be at 10 feet. So I think I'm just going to try to take a shot at him with my heavy crossbow. That is going to be, I imagine, as this boat is rocking and moving along, and with him moving and everybody moving on this, it's just one of those things where I go to take the shot, and just as I pull the trigger, my hands go wide and it just shoots off into the water somewhere behind him. Because I imagine an 8 is going to completely miss him.
Is correct.
That is my action. Okay, that's all I got.
Okay. So that was Katvarad. Bastrad, it is your turn.
My
All right.
spell's still up, so you still need to save.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right. So then that becomes a. Uh-oh. Okay. Gotta remember it's a con plus 4, 12. Uh-oh.
Did
Is
you
that-
did you roll your bless?
Oh,
And
the
is-
bless.
The D4.
Oh my god, and I got a 4 on it. That makes it 16.
There you go.
All right.
Because
Whew.
that wasn't a pass.
Whew, I know
And
that
I wa-
wasn't a pass. That's I was trying to think of all the different things. I was like, okay, I got Haroon's plus 4 to savings. I got my con of 2. I rolled a 6. I knew I was forgetting something. Thank goodness. Yeah. So that kind of radiant pulse, like he can feel this green light sort of seeping in a bit, but he's able to sort of steady himself, and like he glances real quick towards Katvarad to try to like discern if she's aware of what's happening, but we'll shake it off and bolt towards this little spiky monster. And I want to let's see. I want to try to kind of tackle him. I want to generally that seems to be the best thing I can do is hold somebody down and just start wailing on him. So I want to go for a grapple.
All right. You said this was against the spiky-headed one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He seems, since he's still alive when others
Yes.
have perished from lesser things. So, oh my goodness, that's going to be that's just my strength, right?
You can use athletics, I believe.
Athletics. Oh, okay. Oh, that's even better. That's a 22 with bless.
Okay. So, you grab a hold of this small creature, and you are having a really hard time keeping a hold of him. He tied you, but because you're the aggressor, you're going to succeed in actually grappling him, but he is like made of stone almost. His muscles are so like tight. He's very weary, like a tiger. He's just like a ferocious animal, and he's not holding still, and that certainly doesn't help. But you do get a hold of him.
And I don't think I have any bonus actions that I can do without attacking. So, or I mean, I can't really dodge well.
I think a
Grappling.
is a type of attack, so you might still be able to.
Oh, it
If
only
you
counts
want.
as one of my attacks. Okay, then yeah, I'll go ahead and wail on him with my extra attack then. Oh boy, I'm gonna assume that will hit because that's a 21 before I even add my dex and proficiency.
But you were going to say it's a 21 before you add anything to it. I was going to say, Austin, come on now.
That's not how that works. No, it was with the bless. It was an 18 and a 3.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay, so then that's just gonna be a 6er. 4 plus 3, so 7 points of damage, and I will do a bonus action attack. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna bonus action flurry of blows because he seems dangerous. And 9, 10 becomes a 16. And the other one is going to be an 18 for 8, 6, 14, 21 points overall.
Excellent. 21 points. Top of 7, 14 more. Okay. Yeah, you pummel into this kind of wiry little creature repeatedly, and he takes every single one of these blows. You can hear ribs cracking and things underneath, and he keeps just wincing and glaring at you with these kind of burning eyes and these gleaming teeth. You can see this black pitch kind of oozing out from between all of them. It sizzles as it kind of drips out onto the raft. Okay, that was Bastarad. Haroon, it is your turn. We will have to start with a saving throw.
Save and throw. Well, it might help if I roll a d20 and not a d12.
It would significantly increase your odds.
Yes, it would. All right, that's a 16, so I'm good there.
Yep.
All right. I am going to... I'm going to continue to maintain Bless, which is important. Okay. And as far as my action, I'm going to attack this creature on our boat twice. All right. I tell you what I will do. Well, let me see if I hit first. All right, first attack coming in. That's an 18.
Yes.
All right, perfect. I am... Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and burn one of my second level spell slots. Channel my Divine Smite to add more damage to that attack. So that is going to be 4d8 plus. Okay. Okay. It is going to be 24 damage. And 15 of that is radiant.
Okay.
And then,
go
sorry, go ahead. I have one more attack. So.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Do I have? I do. I'm gonna go ahead and spend my inspiration. Okay. That is a 16.
That is also a hit.
All right. This will be for normal damage. All right. That is going to be 8 bludgeoning.
All right. Continue to wail on this creature, and he just continues to hiss and look at the two of you with these beady, burning eyes and this wicked smile. He is not yet dead. Okay. That was Haroon. We are back to the top with Darian. Darian, we will need a saving throw.
So yeah, I got a 6 on the die, even with the 1 on my blessed die and the +4. That'll put me at 11.
That's going to be a fail.
Oh, you got lucky this time, though. Relatively speaking,
Hit me with it.
as it pulses again, you will take 17 points of radiant damage.
I'm exhausted, 1 level 2, right?
Yep, and you are exhausted, and you start glowing.
That's right, I forgot that this goblin was at disadvantage on his grapple.
the glowing doesn't impose any. Oh yeah, because of his exhaustion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make an insight check to see if I realize that I'm the one that caused Darian to get hurt. I rolled a 9, so Katvarad does not know that she's causing Darian this pain, and I will
Yeah, I
maintain
imagine
the
it's
spell.
even masked a little bit because Darian is like the most aether infused of all of us by a fair amount, I'd imagine. Um, Especially after being bitten by this thing and having that like burning. I imagine, and with like the ether darts and everything going around, that it'd be easy to mistake like the glowing of the green to be some sort of aether flare up.
Well, and
Caused
you're
by
glowing
some-
green inside a green
Yeah.
glow.
Yeah, exactly. And Darian, I think, will similarly not realize. So he might even like grasp at like his arm where like this burning pain is coming from, as if like phantom pain, imagining that that's what's caused this flare up against him, and will in rage grit his teeth from this like massive blast of magic that's now hit him, and try to take this sharp tooth monster out that's in front of them, and got a real swing of the dice on this one because that's a crit again.
All right. Holy shit.
And because because I have friends here, that makes it a sneak attack, which means that before any of my dice even count, I'm already at 34 damage. And then I'll add an additional 21 onto that from dice for 51 points of piercing.
Wow. Okay. He is bleeding profusely from all of these different wounds. There's blood pouring from his nose, from his ears. You can see places that have been laid open to the bone, but he's still not quite dead yet. He is an extremely tough creature for his size. The Breathless are closing in now.
And,
Oh.
No. Sorry. I was just going to say real quick, sorry, as
you're good.
Darian sees that this creature is still not yet dead, I'm going to use one of my, I think it's a human feature, where I will, basically it can't make an opportunity attack against me, since Darian is now breathing heavily and bleeding badly, to sneak behind the rest of his companions away from this leader sort, to try to hopefully not die.
Excellent. Okay. Put a little bit of distance between the two of you. Okay. The Breathless, like I said, have now seemed to have been drawn to these darts that had hit. Who all had a dart that had hit them? Haroon? Darian? Just the two of you? Okay. Each one of you has one of these Breathless that comes up to you. Two of them on each one of you, and they're going to try to swing at you. Alright, so the first two, Haroon. One of them is going to hit with a 21. Oh my god, the other one's going to hit with a 22. Darian, the two on you. A 10 is going to miss. That's a 20 though. So the second one.
I'll use my reaction to impose disadvantage on the one that hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are these the Breathless?
Yes. Oh yeah,
Did
they do
they-
make saving throws.
Yeah, they would have to make saving throws as they enter the aura.
Great point. Thank you. All right, let me do that for them real quick. That is a 21 to hit after having to re-roll it. So let's see if they're going to survive entering. These are con saves. The first one that attacked Haroon is going to fail. The second is also going to fail. The one on Darian is going to fail miserably. And they all 4 fail.
Then that's 20 points of radiant damage.
Okay. Let's see.
And the level of exhaustion.
Okay.
And the
So as these 4 breathless come swooping in, Kotvarad, please explain what it looks like as they don't make it past the edge of your barrier.
I imagine all of us, having already faced these things and knowing what they're capable of, maybe tensing up as they're drawing closer. And then Kotvarad's eyes lock in on them, looking wildly as they're still glowing with this sort of greenish white radiance, and watching as they start to move through. And in the same way that gremlin seemed to disintegrate, the breathless just stop moving as they try to move into it and just seem to fall apart as they attempt to pass through, looking as if for all intents and purposes, they just went into a sphere of annihilation.
Their voices fade away. Their voices fade away as their form does as well. Okay. That brings us to... Okay. Bostrad, you have this gremlin pinned up. You're holding on to him as best you can as this thing is just flailing around, snapping his wide mouth at you every chance he can. And he begins... You hear that noise again. The same noise that you were hearing just a moment ago as you were punching him, and you could hear the ribs breaking beneath his skin. But now you're not touching him, and it's still happening. The bones are breaking and snapping. And after just a split second of this, you realize that he's changing. He is growing larger, elongating. His mouth is becoming longer. And before you know it, you are holding on to a massive reptilian creature with this ridged spine, this fin that extends down its back. It turns towards you and is going to attempt to bite you twice.
Cool.
Yep, sure.
All right.
16. The 16 hit?
Exactly enough to hit, in fact.
Can I go ahead and use my reaction?
You still
Since I
have
did,
it?
since well, yeah, because those things disappeared before it actually got
Breathless
to
didn't
us.
actually attack.
Oh,
me,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah.
Great point. All right. 16 or 16 or 17. So, that's one hit. Let's see if the other one hits. This one is not at disadvantage, but it's only a 9, so that's not going to make contact. Okay. Brostrad, you are going to take 18 points of piercing damage and 7 points of fire. As you can continue, even though he has changed his form, you can still see pitch oozing out from beneath or from between these massive teeth.
Ow.
And do me a favor, roll a acrobatics or athletics, and you can have advantage because you had control of the grapple at the beginning.
That is gonna be. Oh, do I still get that +4? Is the bless still active?
Yeah.
Okay, apparently I lost my die, so I'll do an 8. So then that's 3. Okay, 11. 11, 17.
Excellent. Okay. So he only had a 14. So even though his jaws clamped down on your leg, you managed to basically push his face away from you after he's kind of like opening for just a second to get a second bite on you, and you managed to wrench your leg free and knock his face off to the side as his jaws then snap like empty, just inches away from your calf. Okay. More of these blowguns, darts, are going to pepper the those of you who are on the raft. Got the rod. Oof. Yeah, 23.
Yeah.
Okay. Bosterod. 13. Probably not going to do it. Okay. Haroon. 18. Yes. Okay. And then Darian. Again, 11. So, Katvarad and Haroon. Let's see. Okay. Katvarad, you're going to take 3 points of piercing and 2 points of ether damage. Haroon, you will take 3 points of piercing and 4 points of ether damage.
All right, that was how much? Three and what?
3 and 2, I think it was for you.
Of 2 poison?
It was 2 ether.
Oh, ether.
Mm-hmm.
Ether. So 5. So I need to make a DC 12 concentration check.
You took 5 points
The
total, so it's 10.
Oh, sorry, it's 10.
It's
either
half of what
10 or half of the damage, whichever's higher. So the damage wasn't
10
more
is
than
higher.
10. Yeah. So
Quick. I critically failed that.
does a concentration? Hold on.
Yeah, I got it right here. It's 10 or half the damage.
I know, but is it a save
it's a con?
I think it is a saving
or
throw.
just
a Constitution saving throw.
Then bless counts.
Yeah.
Okay, well then that 1 becomes a 2. Hold on, I got to add my own stat into it, which becomes a 5, which also becomes a 9.
Oh,
With all of everything stacking, the green aura as I get hit would just dissipate.
Okay.
I imagine it just sort of almost just that.
oh yeah. Did you apply the aura? My aura?
Yeah.
The +4?
Yeah. I rolled a 1 and I rolled a 1 on the D4 for 2.
Okay.
I have a +3, which makes it 5.
5 plus 4.
Plus your
9.
+4 makes it 9.
Oh, goodness. All right.
So yeah, my spell ends.
It's kind of like that mask that Jake was talking about before we went live. It doesn't matter how much you stretch it; it's just not gonna quite cover what it needs to.
Yep.
Okay, so the aura goes away. Haroon, do you also need to roll for your bless?
I did. I
Okay.
passed. Yeah.
Okay, excellent,
Yeah.
good. Thank you for.
I've been doing it. I would have let you know if I didn't, because
good.
then I'd have to tell everybody the bless is not in effect.
Sweetness. Okay. That was the Blackjaws. Katvarad, it is now your turn.
I look around in surprise as my eyes return to normal, and this effect goes away, and almost blinking because of the change in the light from this green dim light that was everywhere. And then looking at this, almost for the first time, seeing this creature that's now where this gremlin was. And I look at the wooden, though still magical, the wooden crossbow in my hand. And I throw the crossbow overboard, but it never hits the water. It just dissipates from the packed weapon. But that energy seems to sort of flow right back to my hands, which begin to glow with this liquid smoke, this radiant liquid smoke. And at this river creature thing, I am going to make 2 Eldritch Blasts. And I'm not even sure if Katya has even made an Eldritch Blast before.
I don't remember any. I find that hard to
I don't
believe that
recall.
you've made it to this level of Warlock and not cast Eldritch Blast.
Everything she did was packed weapon based. I may have, but I don't recall. Regardless, it's the first time she's cast it with this new celestial energy. And that's 2 blasts. So the first one is going to be a natural 20. That's how you do that.
There you go.
And the second one is going to be I'm going to roll that D4 for the blast. That turns the 10 to a 13, which I'm guessing doesn't hit.
That is actually the magic number you need.
Oh, nice. Okay, so it's going to be the crit is 15, and then another 8 on top of that. All force damage from the Eldritch Blast.
So as these 2 bolts of energy zip towards this strange, bizarre creature, this shapeshifted gremlin, what does it look like as they end his life?
Bastarad is wrestling with this thing. It keeps taking snaps at him, trying to bite down on him. And I imagine it's rearing back and going in for another bite. And both of these blasts strike simultaneously in the back of its throat. And it just seems to sit there for a moment. And then it sort of collapses under its own weight, half in and half out of the boat, probably only held aloft by Bastarad's grasp.
And as this creature kind of flops to the bottom of the raft, you hear this kind of sizzling noise and the roiling pitch that's kind of coming out from between its teeth begins to burn and smoke a black color. And as that starts to happen, his body changes once again, turning back into the grinning face, lipless, now dead, but still staring up at you with these red burning eyes that grow dark. Once this has happened, the Blackjaws melt into the swamp around you, disappearing altogether. There, one moment, you look away for a split second and turn back around and they're just completely gone. The Breathless harangue you for a bit longer, but once you remove these darts, they quickly fall back and no longer press the attack on you. As you continue on the raft, exiting the Breathless Bog, and returning to the Betrayer's Bay town, you can see above the city a ship that has harbored in the air is tethered in place. This ship is enormous. And it seems as if the weather or the fog kind of clings to the hull. All of you, if you would please, can roll history checks. Darian, there's no need for you to roll. Okay, no for Katvarad, no for Bastarad. Are you rolling here, Rune? Okay, there you go. Okay. Darian, it is only you who recognizes this ship. This ship is called the Marauder's Mirage. And the last time that you saw this, it was attacking a ship that you had served on as a deckhand, moments, perhaps, after you made a regrettable decision. Is Darian saying or doing anything when he spots this ship? Are any of you saying or doing anything as you spot this ship in the harbor?
Arian is doing everything he can just to sort of keep standing and moving, still breathing heavily from the conflict before, trying to tend to the like searing, burning pain in his right shoulder from where the bite had struck him. But then, as he's sort of toying with the bandage or whatever it is, trying to patch the wound, he'll suddenly just like stop, and I imagine like his dagger in his other hand will just like clatter down to the floor of the raft. And his eyes will go wide, and he'll just like stop dead motionless. He sees it.
Well, I imagine that Darian, when this happens, it's Katvarad is actually helping you to dress this wound, and says, I don't know everything about medicine, but I saw Ingvar do this more than once. And strangely, as I'm helping you dress the wound, this sort of liquid light dances around my fingertips, and you will gain 5 points of healing from my healing light, as I pull from my pool of dice for that. So it's not much, but there's a little extra benefit as I'm dressing in the wound, and then I imagine kind of looking up at the sound of your dagger hitting the deck of the raft, and then just following your gaze towards this ship in the fog in the sky.
While Keprod is doing that, I will go to Bastrod, and I will place a hand upon you. And again, I close my eyes, and when I open them, they glow blue with ether as I begin to channel. It into your body and begin to heal your wounds. So I will give you back 15.
These holes on Bastard's skin, these kind of gaping wounds where this amphibious creature bit down on him, start to ooze back out with this sizzling pitch, and it seems to be kind of like drawn out of him by the magic, and the wound kind of tightens up a little bit and is still not entirely closed, but is definitely much less raw.
And you can like feel it feeding into you, the energy, and then I slowly begin to pull it back, and then I will take my other hand and as Kavarad finishes, I will place it onto Darian, and then I will begin to channel the rest of the energy that I can manifest into Darian to help Kavarad's healing spell. So I will give you 18.
Bastrad takes a deep breath after receiving his healing and just kind of pats Darian on the back, or Haroon on the back, and gives him a nod.
Afterwards, my eyes return to normal, not glowing anymore. And it's like almost taking a breath, as if he was holding his breath that entire time. I won't be able to do that again for a while. It seems, looks at this ship. It seems we're not alone here anymore.
I know that ship. I've seen it before. The bad omen. I don't just mean bad luck.
Whose ship is that?
I don't know whose ship it is. Whispers among some of the crew said it comes to bring vengeance on people who do wrong deeds, strike against their brethren, who betray their people, a curse more than a person. Us sailors are superstitious bunch, so kind of shrug. More concretely, it attacked the ship I was on once, a long time ago.
Let's keep our heads down once we get back to town.
About that, Sabinos kind of speaks up. I'm not supposed to be going back into town. So, if it's okay with you, I've been discussing it with Farvazio here, and he's going to simply take me back to your shipyard where your ship is being repaired, so that you can go in and take care of business. You have no need having me around, I'm sure.
I think things would go much smoother if you returned to the ship for now. Yes. This place does not seem to welcome you too heartily.
Exactly. Plus, I need to get acquainted with the ship and choose my bunk. Okay. Farvazio will drop you off at the edge of town, at the docks that face the Breathless Bog, and then go on with Sabanos back to your ship. That is where we're going to take our break. So, 5 to 10 minutes, go to the bathroom, refill your drinks, smoke them if you got them, kiss your spouse, etc., etc. Wash your goddamn hands. If you're going out, wear a mask. Stay home if you don't have to go out. Be kind to one another. We're in a very tight spot here. Be civil. Be nice. Open your heart up to people. It'll do you good, I promise. But, most importantly, sit tight, because we're going to be right back, and we'll get into the second half of this in just a moment. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from the break. Thank you very, very much for tuning in this evening, whether you're watching live with us or you're watching in the future. I certainly do appreciate it. Hopefully, you are having a good time and you washed your hands. Anyways, I am very excited to get back into the second half of what I have planned for these fine players this evening. So, let's do it, shall we? So, Sabanos, and Ferraccio, that sounds like a band. Like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Sabanos at Carpaccio. Live.
Famous guitarist. So the two of them have left you at the edge of town, near the docks that face the Breathless Bog, and have gone on to the shipyard, where your ship is being outfitted currently for sailing on water as well as the air. That leaves the four of you to head back into town. You have with you, I'm assuming, the wellstone, the skin that it's wrapped in, and the corpse of the dwarf minced Kona as well? Yeah? Okay. Alright, so is there anything that you're saying or doing on your way back into town, and where are you headed?
Harun, you keep tending to everybody else's wounds, and I sort of point, and I imagine seeing maybe from under the armor, maybe the dark stain in the cloth, or where a dart struck, that Harun is wounded. Have you poured all of your healing magic into the others?
I have exhausted my power for the day, but do not fret. It will return in the morning.
But we still have to make it to the morning. I want to try something, if you'll allow me. It helped Darian just a moment ago.
As you wish.
And I'm going to sort of maybe unhook part of your armor where the worst wound is and take a look at it. And you'll see this healing, this liquid light, almost flowing like smoke, begin to trail at the fingers, but it's brighter and it seems to pulse with my heartbeat. And as I reach out to sort of touch at the edges of the wound, this light begins, with every heartbeat, begins to flow into you. And you will gain 20 HP as I cast a level 4 Cure Wounds into you. Well, and there's this look as my eyes begin to sort of film over with this radiant light. And then as the energy goes in, it almost looks like I'm held towards your wound by magnetism, and then just sort of, that was more powerful than what I did for Darian. I don't know what this is, but you feel better, yes?
I do.
It's...
Thank you, little one. Ingvarad would be proud.
I learned it from watching Ingvarad, I think. And then I would just sort of quietly look. I would look maybe a little bit longer than is comfortable at your bare skin where the wound is, like just holding the armor and the cloth open, and then sort of realize what I'm doing and quickly close it back up and, tie off or snap shut or whatever it is, the armor. I don't think I can do that very often, but I think I can help if any of us get hurt.
This
You would
is
also know that Katvarad took the least amount of damage of anybody. I only got hit by one dart. In fact, I almost imagine that dart's probably still in my shoulder or something. Like I haven't even really noticed it. Maybe it's like high up, and I'm just not paying attention.
yeah. I would remove it.
Oh,
Be sure to not exert yourself. I know that you're coming into this new power of yours. Be careful. Even if it is a power of light, it is not to be taken lightly.
I will try. And I imagine you, Haroon, maybe see just a flicker, almost like the blinking of an eye, just of the shadow that's still there, just sort of pass across my eyes for just a second.
I'd say hopefully we won't need too much of it, but knowing us, we probably will. Would be good to have. We need to be careful as we go into town. That ship is, as I said before, bad news. Be better if we can get what we need done. Get out.
Agreed. Now, trying to recall, were they supposed to be working on our ship while we were gone, or they couldn't work on our ship until we returned?
From what I remember, they had like one barrel that we paid out the nose for, and we were creating the ability for them to have enough to finish. Although I think we should try to get our money back, since we like are going to get them like an infinite. Maybe we should go back there first and like get them all the oil and pitch they need, and like, I don't know, get our money back, because it would be not a bad idea to like let them. We could even give them a good deal, like, hey, we'll let this thing run for like 25 minutes before we take it in and give it to the town, ownership, and you guys can fix our thing up for it, and you'll have a little extra to save.
One
Just a thought.
potential downside is if that word somehow gets out that we're doing that, then suddenly we have all eyes on us and on them. We're potentially like endangering them and not helping them. That depends on the level of secrecy that we keep.
Okay, so then what is the plan? Where are you headed? Again, this wellstone is not conspicuous. You have it currently wrapped inside the hide of what looks like an aged griblin, and it has kind of runic tattoos written all over it.
Yeah, but what about the dead dwarf that we're carrying?
That also, yeah, the dried up minced Kona. He's also not looking real great.
What came out of the wellstone again when it was out of the dwarf?
Water.
Water. Okay.
Yep.
Just pure water.
Yeah, effectively, from what Katavrad was able to tell you, is these minced konas are basically like a sacrificial part of any delve down into the down under, and they act as like a filter, as far as you can tell. They draw the lesser fiends to them, and don't fight possession, so that kind of frees up some of the other dwarves able to stay down there longer. This one looks like it is an old filter, like when you go to change a filter out and you're like, oh, this was way past due. This filter looks like it was extremely filled with fiendish possession.
All right, kind of realizing, like, remembering this, Bastard will say, we don't have time. We don't have time to waste. Let's take this thing back. We can get the barrel we need there. They've promised us as much for fixing their problem, and we want to make sure that this dwarf is in good enough shape. He says that with kind of a air quotes in his voice, that they can still use it and get what they need. So he'll suggest just moving. He'll start as if he's just going to start walking back to where we were supposed to return this.
Okay. Sounds like the group consensus then is to head back to the governor's mansion and meet with Moz Gadigan, the dwarf who is in charge of, at least for now, in charge of Betrayer's Bay. Okay, so you make your way back to the mansion, and after a moment are let in to see Moz Gadigan sitting behind this rather regal desk, papers kind of spread everywhere, his resplendent beard highly decorated and oiled. You can see a very large hat with what looks like an entire bird's worth of feathers sticking out of the brim. He sits with his large cuffed boots kind of drawn up on his desk. And as you enter the room, he gets to his feet and makes his way around the desk towards you. Oh. What have we here? You have brought me something special, it seems. Oh, we are shy?
We have discovered the source of the pitch.
After like a moment, he kind of seems like he has like a realization, and he points one of his ringed fingers towards the bundle that you hold, in kind of a question, raises his eyebrows. This?
Yes.
He kind of picks up at the edge of the hide and kind of holds it up, examining it with a disgusted look on his face. That's rather unpleasant. Well, what do you do with it?
Suggest what we do with it doesn't happen here in your nice office. Kind of looking at the floors and gesturing to them.
I see. Well, we have business to attend to, so could I leave it in the hands of one of my capable friends? Perhaps they can take it elsewhere and do whatever it is needs to be done.
And you assure us that we'll receive what we require.
Absolutely. You will receive, if it works, what we agreed upon.
It will work.
So what is to be
He'll
done?
gesture. He'll start to pull like this desiccated dwarf. He's carrying, and he'll set him on the man's desk, and kind of like, I apologize for the state of him, but Katfarad, hold his hand out for the stone.
He pulls like a laced handkerchief out of like his bell sleeve, like this large, like very intricately laced sleeve, and he holds it over his nose and his mouth with just this disbelieving and again disgusted face. Proceed, please.
I would look at him with this look of, I guess the best way I could describe it is condescending disbelief that this is the reaction from a dwarf. Given that this is something that, Katvarad identified, and I'm sorry, Jeremy, I forget what the name is.
Yeah, minced Kona. I'll put
Minced Kona.
Mm-hmm.
That for delving dwarves that actually delve, the minced Kona is just, that's their job. That's what they do. And I think to Kadvrad, there's no sense of loss or even a need to treat this body with a particular reverence or anything, because other than the fact that, yeah, it's way older than would be expected. But this is what the minced Kona do. This is their purpose, is to absorb possessions, absorb fiends, so that we can do our job. So that's the kind of the root of Kotfarad's look at Jeremy. I looked at your name by the dwarf. At Jeremy the dwarf. Is just this, what? Mosgadigan. Yeah, that just looking at him like, come on, man. And would bring over, and I would imagine hand this to Bastarad and just begin to open the chest cavity. If I recall, it was like a Y incision, and
Yeah.
That it was partially, it had been sewn up. So just kind of like start to pull it apart to make room for it. It's very impersonal. It's very matter of fact.
Mechanical.
Yeah.
Bastrad will look down, and like as he's holding things, say, I really think you would prefer to do this outside. Before unwrapping the thing.
Yes.
And say, just unwrap, insert, close it back up. You'll get what you need.
This is how the pitch is made?
You didn't ask us to find you something beautiful. You asked us to bring back the way the pitch was, to bring the pitch back to production. This is how it happens.
It is fascinating, I suppose, in a fashion. Yes, please, take it. And he kind of motions, and a few people kind of come out and grab the stuff from you guys, and they'll... and he kind of gives them, a specific spot in town that he wants them to install this, effectively, this pitch generator. So they take it from the room, and he kind of uses the handkerchief to kind of like brush off the places on the desk where the minced Kona had been laying just a moment ago, and then kind of just tosses his handkerchief in the wastebasket, and he returns to his seat and kind of steeples his ringed fingers together. So, your payment. We agreed upon, and he kind of like leaves it hanging as if he wants you to finish.
However much pitch it takes to repair our ship, and a small payment for our efforts.
Yes, of course. Very well. There's a chest here I have placed, and he kind of points off to the side between two of these like large open windows. And there's a small chest kind of sitting on a small like end table. And there's a key like laying in front of it. He says, and of course you will have the pitch that you need. Of course. He's kind of busying himself, making notes in a ledger. There is one more thing I nearly forgot. Darian Black. I recognized you whenever you came in the first time to town. You and I have a mutual friend. You hear the sound of a person with a peg leg approaching as they enter the room with a heavy gate. Coming out of the darkness and stepping into the light so that you can see him, Darian, is a man by the name of Catalis Varn. You once served under this man, sailed on a vessel of his. As a matter of fact, the last time you saw him was also the last time that you had seen the Marauder's Mirage. He enters the room with a scowling glare in your direction, Darian. Darian Black. It has been a long time.
It has been.
I see you still keep interesting company. He kind of looks at Maz Gadigan.
I would hardly call him company. More of a work associate for the time being.
I had a similar arrangement with him. He kind of jerks his head, and several crewmen, what look like, enter the room and bring a chest that is 2 to 3 times the size of the one that Maz Gadigan motioned to for you, and sets it on the desk in front of Maz Gadigan. And he rubs his hands together as he then goes and opens the chest, and you can see it is filled with ill-gotten gains, jewelry, coin. We also had a business arrangement, Moz and I. He notified me whenever you came into Betrayer's Bay, which was foolish. You know, I only survived the attack on our ship because something saved me. Something in the deep, in the dark of the ocean. When I came back, the ship was destroyed. Most of the men were dead. All of the cargo was missing. You know what else was missing, Darian Black? You. And now, I captain the Marauder's Mirage. She is my ship. Her crew belong to me. They told me who it was that had arranged a trade that day. How it was they discovered where our ship was. Their answer was very interesting. Do you know who they told them where to find us? Darian Black?
Who? He'll say, playing dumb.
He points to you again. You. You will be coming with us, Darian Black. Put him in irons. Crewmen begin to advance towards you, Darian.
Bastrad will stand in between these advancing crewmen and Darian, but he does so in a way where he, like, not facing them entirely. He like holds up a hand for just a moment, like as in, like, give me a moment. He turns to Darian, and he gives like as quick as he can, trying to be as subtle as he can, like a wink. And he says, "Is this true, Darian? Are you truly a traitor to these men?"
The person that you talk about, and I like talk past Bastrad to Catalyst, is a ghost. Died long ago. He is as different from me than I am from you now.
Regardless of your past sins, Darian, and I'll look to this other captain. Darian Black is already a prisoner of war under the Calendari. He is my prisoner.
You are well past where the elven lands fly. I do not accept the authority of the Calendari. I do not think that you want to cross blades with me. As he says this, water begins to seep out of the walls of this room and trickle out of the ceiling from the light fixtures and come up through the boards of the floor. And he kind of looks at all of you with warning in his eyes.
What do you want with me? Vengeance? Repayment? What?
Vengeance. Yes. I will take you on board the Marauder's Mirage with me. When I am done, I will execute you in front of all of my men.
See, that doesn't really work for me very well. Kind of have
I
somewhere
did
to
not
be.
ask if it worked for you, Darian Black. It did not work for me whenever you betrayed me and my crew and sent me into the depths of the ocean. It did not work well for me whenever I gained unimaginable powers.
Seemed to work out for you in the end. I don't see what you're so upset about.
Your mouth always worked faster than your mind, Darian. You won't come with me now? It is fine. My ship will not leave this harbor until you sail from this island. The moment you are away from the safety of Betrayer's Bay, I will blast you out of the sky. You and all of your friends.
What if we could make a deal?
There's nothing you can offer me. Nothing that I want more than to see you suffer. the way that I did? What could
Not
that
even
cost?
for the world to continue.
See, I'm doing something very important right now, but you let me finish, and you can follow me there. You can watch me. Once we're done, I'm yours. I'll come willingly, no fight, no trouble. Pay my price.
He folds his arms across his chest, realizing now that Bastrad wasn't joking. You believe you can do something that will stop all of this? How?
We know who's causing it. We know what they're doing. We know where they are. We know how to get to them. Going to go there. Going to stop them. And then once we do, I'll go with you.
He kind of looks at the others of you that are in the room, realizing that you aren't mere adventurers. By this point, that's pretty clear, plainly obvious. His eyes eventually will come back to you, Darian. And you can see that he is seething. Like his jaw is just constantly working as he gnashes his teeth. Very well. The Marauder's mirage will follow you wherever it is that you go. The moment, fail or succeed, that this is over with. You are mine to do with as I see fit.
Darian will step past Fosterrod and even step past these other crew members who are stepping towards him. And he'll, with one hand up, empty-handed, to show that this is no like trick to try to like stab him in the back or anything. Will extend the other hand out to shake. Deal. As long as he'll like pull his hand back at the last second. You take me. You don't take any of them. They go free. They live. And then he'll put his hand back out towards him.
We have an accord. He extends his hand out and grasps yours. And as he does so, dark tendrils appear from beneath his sleeve and kind of crawl their way up your forearm. You can feel these small suction cups on the underside of these tentacles as they latch onto your arm. And then they retreat, and he lets go of your hand. And you have these darkened suction bites, these little pits all up and down your arm, these dark shapes kind of remaining behind. I encourage you to not break it.
He'll give a small bow to this person, showing much more flair and confidence than he's feeling in his head, and will just step back behind the crew members, behind Fosterrod, trying like not to look at his arm, like because he knows if he does, it'll like break this facade of confidence that he has, masked right now, and will just nod. We've done it plenty of times before, but as I said, that person is a ghost. No longer here. The Starian keep his word.
I hope so. With that, Maz is left with his payment. You are released to head back to your shipyard. But members of the crew of the Marauders Mirage follow you every step of the way, keeping an eye on you from a short distance. All right. So as you, well, I guess what's next? What are you doing next? Where do we go from here?
I would definitely say we go back to the ship.
Oh, well, I kind of think we should maybe have another word with Maz Gadigan for selling us out like that. But we can wait till later, maybe. But I know we're in a hurry to like save the world. But oh boy, that makes me mad. I want to get back at that guy eventually.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that would be one of the reasons to get back to the ship, because I need to ask the shipwright how what's our time frame as far as getting the ship fixed or repaired to where we can use it for our purposes. So
yeah, back to the shipyard makes sense.
As everybody's leaving the room, I would have glanced at the large chest of ill-gotten gains that this captain placed on Maz's desk, and then I would look over at the rather small chest and key that was our payment, presumably. And as we're all leaving, I walk over and I scoop up the key and I pick up the chest. I imagine it now being small enough that I can tuck it under an arm and just walk out of there. Can't leave our payment behind.
Yeah, and Maz hardly even pays you guys any attention. You can see that, that Scrooge McDuck look on his face.
On the way out, Bastrad will just say, "It was a pleasure doing business, and I hope to see you again when I'm done with my business at the edge of the world."
Oh, yes. Good luck with that. Okay. So you head back to the shipyard. The shipwright informs you that she has instructed the really old salty pirate guy. I think that's the shipwright, the one who owns the shipyard, and the shipwright that was working on your boat. That he's done everything with the boat except for sealing it with pitch. So once you get the rest of the pitch in, well, not in their hands, but in their possession, then they will be able to finish it within a matter of hours.
We arranged with Maz Gadigan to have just that delivered, right? Like, I mean, I think we told him where we were and what we needed.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So we're just waiting on the delivery at this point.
Yeah, so effectively, whatever you all want to do or say or what have you, any conversations that you would like to have essentially before you are ready to depart from Betrayer's Bay.
So as soon as they get back and like the door to the airship is shut and we're sure that they, the people tailing us cannot hear us, Bastard is just fuming and he turns to Darian and says, "They're not taking you. It's not happening. We'll find something. We'll kill all of them if we have to, but no. And that Gadigan bastard. Something has to happen. I know we don't have time now, but when we're done with this, after we deal with them, that was a lot of money. Maybe it should be our money."
Thought I could run from it forever. If I pretended that the sins of my past were gone, that they would be. You can't outrun a guilty conscience.
Darian, there's always a time when one must face the sins of their past, but you will not face it alone.
And Darian's just like fixated down. Like before, like he was trying not to look at it. Now he like can't look away from like these spots all up his arm. Just like looking as if into the void itself at them. Maybe I deserve it.
What is that? The spots on your arm.
They were put there by Catalyst. I shook his hand. Imagine it's some sort of mark from magic or some sort. Bind me to him. My word to something. I don't know.
A thing done by magic can be undone by magic. We just have to find the right person. We're going to a place where impossible things happen. Maybe we'll be able to find some way to make one more impossible thing happen.
Is there anything I can do walking over to Darian and just sort of not even having to lean in close? I mean, if Darian's holding his arm down, it's pretty much at my head height. And just staring at it and trying to get a good look at it. Is there anything I can do to try to determine the nature? If this is something that could possibly be healed or otherwise dispelled?
Yeah, absolutely. Roll an Arcana check for me.
Given my knowledge of sailor superstition and stuff like that, would I be able to help him? See if I have any weird pirate legends that I had heard that might give him some clues.
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely.
All right, you can have advantage then.
Well, I'm going to stick with the first roll since I got a 1 on the second roll.
Fair.
It's a 14. I am trained in Arcana. Got a +2 on that for a total of 14.
Okay, so you aren't quite sure exactly what kind of magic this is. This is not something that you're immediately familiar with. Your guess might be some kind of magic similar to that of fiends. This kind of like intrusive, possessive magic that tends to stay. But you can't say for certain because you've never seen it like this before. And Darian, however, is able to tell you not what this does in particular, but that he's heard of this particular mark before. And it's called the Mark of the Kraken.
I don't think there's anything I can do in my power to remove it, but I mean, is there anything you've heard of people removing it by removing the arm? I'm just saying, it's just an idea. If it came down to it, we could always.
No. Catvarad, Darian, this is something that Darian must come to terms with. He must repent for his actions in the past. He gave his word to this captain that he must hold, but it does not mean that the captain's threat of execution needs to be followed through. Darian simply said that he would go willingly to this captain. And perhaps by performing the deeds that we are looking to perform in the very pits of hell, perhaps those deeds will outweigh the sins of his past and undo this curse.
Still not so certain about the weight of sins, but I'm beginning to understand the consequences a bit more. And like the others said, Darian, you will not go alone. I'll even drag Sabanos along if we have to.
The worst case scenario is maybe I finally do something good in this forsaken world before I go. That would be enough for me. Anything else is extra. But while I appreciate the concern, I'll say trying to deflect, like clearly he doesn't know how to process this and like doesn't even know like what to say or where to start. Well, I appreciate the concern. We have more important things to do. I'm one man, we have a world to save. That has to be our first thought, no matter what. What happens after that will come, whether we want it or not. Whether I deserve it or not. That cannot be where our attention lies for now. Thank you, though. I appreciate your support. They're the closest things to friends I've ever been able to say that I've had. Don't know how to deal with it, to be honest.
Bastrad will kind of cautiously say, "Well, I know it's been an issue for me in the past, but we're going to be stuck here for at least as long as it takes for them to work on our ship. I could use a drink or maybe two, but that might make it easier for us to all figure out what's next."
No objections here.
Bastrad looks immensely relieved to hear another person like agree to that idea.
I think when Vostrad suggested it, like he looks for Ingvarad, and then like everybody kind of looks for Ingvarad, and then realizes like that everybody has the same like moment where they
Like,
realize,
oh, mom's not here. We can do what we want.
okay. So you're able to find your way back. If you'd like, you can go back to the, I think it's called the Harbor Harlot. It's the place where you kind of first stopped. It's definitely a very rowdy establishment. But there's plenty to choose from to eat and drink there. Okay. So you're able to relax a bit for a while, eat your fill, drink your fill, however much that might be, and while the time away, before soon, the owner of the shipyard comes looking for you to tell you that your vessel is done. The pitch has cured and hardened, and it is ready to set sail whenever you are.
And based on the wisdom check I made myself, Bastrad drinks responsibly. He actually just has one or two. He's kind of figured it out.
Darian will be much less restrained in the face of everything that's happened, I imagine.
Godfred abstains.
Yeah, I think Haroon would want to just keep his senses about him.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Bastard drinks just enough to get like a little weirdly sentimental with Darian. Like, you're a really good guy. I want you to know that I think like you. I know you've had a tough time in the past, but like you're a good guy now. Avrad saw something in you, and she's not wrong about stuff like that. She knows. She knows.
He keeps inadvertently kind of knocking you in the head a little bit, Darian, with his horns, like every once in a while. He's like inappropriately close. Perfect. After a while, the four of you, one way or another, walking or carried, manage to make your way back to the ship. And sure enough, it is sitting ready to take flight. So, as you take off, leaving Betrayer's Bay behind you, you hear the thunder rumble and watch as the storm cloud that surrounds the Marauder's mirage turns and follows you away from this forgotten Colossiah. And that is where we're going to wrap up our session for this evening. All of you, please level up.
Woohoo!
Thank you all so much for tuning in this evening. Thank you very much to these fantastic players. Once again, I love throwing things at you guys and just watching you chew your way through it and then be able to wax poetically with one another. The relationships that these characters have with each other is just, it's very special to me. I really like how it's really grown organically, and all of these characters really, really do feel like real people. I feel bad doing things to them sometimes, almost. So, thank you. I'm going to pass things over to you guys so that you can say any kind of outros, goodbyes, last words, etc. Last words, that didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. Before we call it an evening. So, first up, we have Jake.
This was awesome, Jeremy, just to be back in the seat again. I know we've all waited a couple of months. I waited an extra month, having not been in that game in April or in May. And this is the first time I've really gotten to play Katvarad after losing Ingvarad. Having gone back and listened to the last episode, I like the way you handled the characters' absences. Same thing with Sabinos tonight. But yeah, this was just great getting to interact with these your NPCs and monsters and these players. I realize how much I miss this. We always get so into it. We have for 17 sessions now. Yeah, it's just been great to be back into the seat and almost feel like I'm playing a new character, getting to explore some new sides, and over time seeing what this means, especially with it looking like Katvarad is essentially not necessarily going home, but going somewhere familiar to her. So I'm really excited to see how that happens, and this new monkey wrench, so to speak, with Darian and what that's going to mean. So yeah, this is incredible as always, Jeremy, and I love listening to the Momentum playlist on Spotify when that music just lines up ever so perfectly with what's being said or what's happening. Yeah, this has been great. That's all I got.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jake. Yeah, these characters, a lot of them have gone through quite a bit of growth through the last 17 sessions, and that's always really cool to see happen. Especially, like I said, when it happens organically. It feels like it fits what's happened to them in the story, and all of the changes and adjustments make sense narratively. So it's been fantastic to see so far, and I cannot wait. Things are only going to get twistier. All right. Next up, we have Austin.
It's a blast as always. I'm always so happy to play this game, especially after a long wait like that. I never really have a whole lot to add, especially because everybody else is usually so eloquent about things. Although I'm second this time, so I guess it's just Jake that I'm leaning on this time to express all the good things. Although I trust everyone else will as well. But yeah, it's just I look forward to this every month so much. It's super fun. I cannot wait to see what happens with these characters, especially just like as things get deeper and more fucked up, I get more and more excited to see what's going to happen. And Bastrad gets is a roller coaster of emotions. So, figuring out what he's going to be feeling at any one time, because I like that. It's just fun to me to play a character who is entirely like straight up like whatever emotion he's feeling, he is there, right there at that moment, fully there, going to 11, like fuck it, I'm telling everybody how I feel about them, and like almost punched that fucking guy that that was coming in for Darian. But I thought like, okay, I'll try a different tact. But so much fun as always. Nothing to plug as always. You guys are all great. It's great playing with you. Oh, hey, I'll plug a thing. Play Disco Elysium. It's a really good video game. It's like super cool and like completely unlike anything else. Try it.
Excellent. I've heard interesting things about that game. And thank you, Austin, very, very much, man. It's a pleasure to have you here. And again, I love all of the characters, and Bastrad is certainly no exception. I like the fact that he is this punch things first, ask questions later most of the time, and while he's doing so, his heart is on his sleeve. It's a very fun character. I can't wait because we should be heading into Bonekin lands next, so I'm excited for that. Okay. Next up, we have Alan.
It was, as everyone has said already, it was great being back at this table, especially after a long wait. So sad to actually have to wait again for the next session. But as always, Jeremy, you do such a wonderful job as the game master, just presenting the world that you have built for us to explore, and everyone always does an excellent job portraying these characters with more depth than just game statistics. So always a pleasure to play with you guys. The only thing I will plug is that if you're not already a member of the Absolute Tabletop Facebook group, go there. It's a great community, especially now when more people are having to play online. If you're new to games or looking for games, it is a community of people who are all about RPGs, not just D&D, but various RPGs, and always looking to run one-shots or campaigns, and always looking for players. And Jeremy, I might be stealing a little bit of his thunder, but Jeremy actually did a interview with Tim, who's part of this game, he wasn't here tonight, about building community. And they do talk about building Absolute Tabletop Facebook group and just how it's fostered a really good community, which I think is very important in with what we're going through right now. So I'll point you guys there. And with that, I'll pass the baton.
That's a great call, Alan. Thank you. Yeah, the Absolute Tabletop official group on Facebook, I think, is the whole name. Definitely a phenomenal group of very, very creative, very supportive, just pleasant people all around. And there are a ton of games that get made there all the time. So yeah, go over there, show your face, get to know people. You won't be sorry. Thank you for reminding me that's a good thing to shout out, Alan. Especially, like you said, now. We all need that kind of social interaction. I know I certainly do. Okay, next up, Jeff.
Yes, I'm Jeff. If you want to check out anything that I do, you can check out Tabletop Terrors, which I do alongside with Tim, who is also in this game but not present for this session, and brother James. We do weekly videos about a ton of different RPG topics, so check that out if you're so inclined. And yeah, I'll just echo everyone else's sentiment, say that this game is just the best. Every month, it's the game that I look forward to. And yeah, it's Darian's had quite a ride these last couple sessions between like max HP drain, now exhaustion, like twice his health pool of damage across a couple different combats, and now a pirate curse. So we'll see where he ends up by the end of it all. But it's been crazy. But yeah, this is the sort of game to have all that stuff play out in. So yeah, it's been super cool to play in this session, and all the more excited to see where it goes and what'll happen as all these threads start to continue to work their way towards some semblance of being tied up at some point.
We can only hope. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. Think of anything else that I need to cover? Oh, Tim, if you watch this, I hope you feel better. Get to feeling better, please. We missed you. And anybody who tuned in, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like button, subscribe. There's 16 other episodes of Whispers and Fragments preceding this one, and there will be a few, at least, probably about half a dozen or more, maybe, before we're done. And, yeah, wash your hands. Wear a mask if you go outside. It's pretty simple. Don't be a dick. There's no reason to be a dick. It's the golden rule of life, honestly. If you can't follow it, go somewhere else. Stay by yourself. All right. Until next time, may your dice roll high, and your snacks always be within reach.